Hi, it's Louie again, and welcome to Acorn Hill. In today's video, I will share with you how we instantly introduced color, height, and something good to look at along the long expanse of our retaining wall in the back garden. I'll share with you the plants that I used for the thriller, filler, and spiller, how I properly planted this container, how we water the containers, our fertilizing schedule, the lessons we have learned so far, as this is the first year we have planted 5 big pots that are now becoming the feature of our garden. Exactly a year ago, when we undertook the major renovation of our backyard, one thing that stood out and is becoming a major feature was the long retaining wall along the entire backyard of our property. Part of our original plan was to break up the wall, so to speak, by placing pots at certain points all along the span of this long border. Choosing the pot was a process for us. First, it had to be big enough, about 2 feet tall, in order to be in keeping and in proportion with the wall. Second is the type of pot that we will use. Should we use clay, porcelain, terracotta, or resin? In the end, and for practical purposes, using resin was a no-brainer for us. I found these Tuscan style pots at a big local hardware store, but they were brown. From the start, we wanted the feature pots to create a pop of color across the backyard, so we had to choose which color we'd like, and it's a no-brainer for us as well because we are drawn to the color blue. So we mixed leftover paint from previous projects, and we came up with this hue of teal / turquoise / robin's egg blue. We call it Acorn Hill blue. Okay, before we talk about the plants that we will put in the pots, the question is, how are they going to be watered? From the start, the original plan was to hook them on drip. Drip system or drip irrigation is the easiest and most practical way of keeping plants either in the garden bed or in pots, as the harsh sun in North Carolina is not friendly for anyone who wants to water these plants. The whole property is hooked on a drip irrigation system that I can control using an app on my telephone. Moving along to planting the pots, I made sure that each container has big drainage holes. These new lightweight materials, such as the ones that we are using, are very practical because we can move them pretty easily if we need to change the position of each pot. For the planting medium, I use soil-free potting mix. Not only is this medium light, but it is fluffy enough that the blend provides roots with more oxygen and nutrients as they continue to grow. For the plants, we use the principle of thriller, filler, and spiller as the principles for this container gardening. The thriller in this case is something big and with interesting texture as the elephant ears or alocasias that we planted in the center of the pot. For the filler, we used Supertonic Vista series. For the spiller, we used the lime green colored creeping jenny. Combination of these colors, the green of the alocasia, the blue purple hues of the petunia, and the acid green color of the creeping jenny, complement the pots really well. Now let's talk about the basic maintenance of these pots. As with any garden plants, these plants are not exempt from any garden pests. So let me talk to you about the weekly maintenance of these plants. Today, the task that I'm doing is I'm spraying this thing for earbuds or budworms. Typically use a Bonite product. It's an organic product that kills all of these bugs. I'm trying to prevent the budworm, that's the long worm in the center of the diagram, and we're trying to make sure that all of them don't get eaten up, especially the buds of the Supertunia. weekly applications of the Bonide budworm killer, plus an application of all-purpose fertilizer is highly recommended for these plants. These plants are hungry. Nutrients usually get drawn out of the pots after each watering. Watering for the plants on a schedule occurs every other day. Each pot gets a gallon of water every hour when the drip system is on. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, do click on the subscribe button and also the bell notification icon. That way you can get some notifications on latest contents and latest videos that I put out. It's a quick video, but I wanted to show you what's going on over here along the retaining wall of our garden. This is Louis signing off. We'll see you back here in Acorn Hill. P.S. guys, I wanted to include this part of the video where I was doing an inspection on the leaves, how the sun is really beating on the leaves of the Alocasia. Elephant ears, turns out, cannot handle south-facing and direct sunlight during the summer. So you can see it is very crispy, it's dried up. That's why they need a lot of water to retain that moisture. But lesson learned, next year we are not going to be putting the Alocasia as part of our garden feature for the pots. Notice that I put the pots on top of pot feet. That way there's proper circulation and water. Although it is pretty hot over here, water doesn't stay underneath the pot and would cause some rotting or any bad stuff that will come up from the bottom going up the middle of the pot. I mentioned this before. This pot is about I don't know, a foot and a half tall from this rim down below. That is filled with packing peanuts, those styrofoam peanuts that we use for packing, and then soil starts from there going up, and that's just basic potting soil, mixture of coir, lime, leaf mold, not a lot of soil, but leaf mold and sphagnum moss just to retain the moisture. Well, that's it guys. There's a lot going on in the garden, a lot going on in our backyard, and we are happy to have you over. We're glad to share with you things that we're learning, things that we're doing. Until the next video, I hope you like what we've shown you today. This is Louis signing out. We'll see you back here in Acorn Hill. Bye.